Hi, and welcome everybody to another Kalicube Tuesdays. Today is just before Christmas. I'm in the UK, so is Dom, and this is going to be a festive season, Christmas lighty episode, which I'm really looking forward to because this is the only truly festive episode we actually got together. And Dom apparently is an incredible specialist in Christmas lights. Welcome, Dom.
Hello. You know what? It is Christmas, so let's start as we need to go on. Let's replace the Tigger hat with this if we're going to talk about Christmas. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing fine. A quick hello and we're good to go. Welcome to the show, Dom Hodgson. Welcome.
As long as I don't need to do a second verse, we're all good. Are we ready?
I would have thought that doing Christmas lights for a big crowd of people, you'd be pretty good at singing, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be singing Christmas carols at the same time or something?
The great thing about the lights is because the lights sing. Because they're synchronized to music, like we spend a lot of time making sure the lights sing so that I don't have to.
Brilliant. Okay, and if anybody isn't yet intrigued by what Dom's going to talk about, you should be now, because that was really mysterious piece of conversation based on previous knowledge I had and Dom, the conversation we'd had before. Before we get going, though, really quickly, your brand SERP. We won't take long over this, but I had a quick look at your brand SERP. And in fact, there's another Dom Hodgson who does pet things, and he's a comic who does business growing it, and very strange.
Yeah. Let me tell you, so when he was very, very young, he set up a MySpace, and his MySpace was the real Dom Hodgson, which sort of upset me a little bit because But yeah, I've actually spoken to him a few times. There's him, and there's another Dom Hodgson who is he discovered a lake in Antarctica called Lake Hodgson, and has written a book about that. So I've got no chance of regaining my brand SERP for that name at all.
And yet your Twitter box is at the top, and we can see there from the space underneath, they're dormant Twitter boxes. I mean, that would bloom into Twitter boxes if you did a few tweets today, is my betting, because of the way the spacing shows. But you're actually dominating that. And if we go to the next slide, at the bottom, you've got your image number 1 in the image boxes down the bottom, and you've got comedian next to your name just above that, which is cool.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very pleased with that.
And my name turns up right next to that with the Kalicube Tuesdays kind of experiment. We kind of trample all over your brand SERP, whether you like it or not. And the next one is the videos, where you're really active on Twitter. And here we can see that Twitter videos do really well.
Yeah.
And so your Twitter activity is really doing you a big favor on that front.
Yeah, I do spend most of my time on there. You can see that the second tweet down is actually, we went viral with that earlier on in the year. So we were featured in the newspapers. We were featured on like BBC TV, Jeremy Vine. And that was when my wife decided to do a fake holiday in the home, where she made us leave and she did an aeroplane and everything like that. So that was just a Twitter thread that I did. And it was the most insane experience I've ever had on Twitter.
Oh, right. And viral to what extent then? I think of viral, I think of like 40 retweets.
Well, so if you click through to there, can you click there, or is it just
no,
a
I
screenshot?
can't click there, but
all right.
I'm sure Anton will find it.
Yeah. It was 40 retweets. I think it was something like, it was thousands of likes, thousands of retweets. It was incredible. You couldn't use Twitter because every time you did, there was just new information. I don't know how celebrities use Twitter. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll always understand why a celebrity never tweets you back, because the amount of information that they get is just so much. But
right. Yeah, I love Twitter, but definitely I get drowned with the tiny amount of activity around my account. But I can't imagine what it's like for you with that one. And as you say, for celebrities, when it's every day.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway,
I think I found it. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, right. Well,
so the first one is 275 replies, 1,500 retweets, and then just under 10,000 likes. And then it's like a 20 thread thing, a 20 tweet thread, and each one of them are similar.
Brilliant. Okay, so you and your family basically do fun things for fun reasons and enjoy yourself a lot. And one of them is the Christmas lights thing.
Yep.
That's why we're here. Can you explain the Christmas lights thing? Because I thought that you were just this incredibly enthusiastic family who did the Christmas lights and nobody else came to look at it. And the 4 of you or 5 of you, I don't know how many in your family, would just stand and watch it on your own. But that's not the case, is it?
No. So we have Hodgson Family Lights. Is it started about 3 years ago. It started with a simple matrix in the window, and then last year with lockdown we went a bit crazy and we had 7,500 lights, and then this year we've just got a touch under 25,000 lights, and it's we get a few thousand people every season that come, and people come from like Manchester to come and have a look, which doesn't sound that far, but last year in the middle of lockdown, when you have people from Manchester, technically you shouldn't be here, but
Right.
it's all good. Yeah, so we do it for the community. We also do it to raise money. We work with a local hospice. We've been working with them for about 5 years and lots of fundraising. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen me in stupid costumes. Last year I did 26 half marathons, each one in a different costume, that sort of thing. And we work with them to do lots of fundraising. But
right, so the idea, one picture of 1,000 words, says Anton. Too true, too true. I mean, the point from a snow nation or snowation.
Stonation. That was an idea I had because last year the show was on the front of the house, and this year I've moved it to the back. We've got a scaffolding structure built especially for it, but I still wanted something on the front. So I was like, we got 200 snowflakes, and we let people sponsor them, and your name lights up with the snowflake, so you can dedicate to somebody whose it's birthday, and maybe they've passed away, or maybe you just want one for yourself. And all the money goes to the local hospice.
Oh, that's brilliant. And so kind of basically what we're talking about today is you have this event that you've created and built up over 3 years. And this is how we're going to talk about how you create it, build it, then promote it, the PR, the SEO, and the general promotion, and running marathons or half marathons.
Yeah. And because that's the point, there is so much going on today. There are so many events, there are so many other things. So it's not so much these days building something like this. If you want to get people here, you've either got to hope that somebody comes, sees it, does a video and goes viral, or you've got to put a little bit of effort into it. And we actually have conferences about Christmas lights now. And I did a talk on promoting your Christmas light display and getting involved with stuff like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Sorry, you already had conferences, or the conferences were built up around your Christmas lights?
No, there's a community of people that do this, do synchronized lights, and we had a conference. Well, we had an event. We had the first UK event this year. There've been America. I was due to speak at one in Las Vegas, a Christmas light conference in America in July. But there's this little thing called COVID. I don't know if you heard of it, which meant I couldn't go.
Right. Yeah, no, sure. 100%. And the other thing is lights in Las Vegas. I mean, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Obviously not very Christmassy.
It's one of those things that in this hobby, when you're in this hobby, it ruins lights for you, because you just look around and you look at like, oh, I wonder what control they're using for that. Oh, are they using that P5 panel? So all you do now is see, and even my wife will see, my wife will come around and she'll look around with me and she'll point out lights and she'll know the model number of specific lights that people are using.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of part of the problem when you get too involved in anything, I think. And we made cartoons with my ex-wife, and I actually ruined cartoons for me for a couple of years because I could see all the cuts, and I was thinking, how did they do that? Why is that cut there? And it took me 2 or 3 years after making the cartoon to stop doing that, and now I can enjoy them again. So yeah. Are you worried about your what unhealthy dislike for Christmas light details? No, that wouldn't be what you'd call it.
No, it's fascinating. Like you watch other people. There's a show. There's a TV show in America called The Great Christmas Light Fight, and it's shows like mine that compete in America for $50,000, and you just watch them and you go, "Oh, how did they do that?" And you take inspiration from it. One of the things that I love about this community is it'd be so easy for it to be competitive. And every TV show that you see about Christmas lights, there's always two neighbors that hate each other and like compete. But that's not the case that I've seen in this. It's a very collaborative experience. There's another show in Leeds that's a bit bigger than mine, and we've helped each other out. He's helped me with my tree. I've helped him with putting his props up. And you get people traveling and visiting each other's shows because you just want everybody to have the best show they can.
Right. Yeah, and it is that kind of thing with TV, is they try to create this idea that everybody's competing because that's what that's what makes great TV. But in fact, I mean, maybe like the SEO community, there's a lot of support going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. So basically, you start building the lights in August, having a barbecue in your garden, is what you said earlier on.
Oh no, that's one part of it. We start building the lights now. So we start now. So the lights are on from 4 till 8. So right now, there's a reason I'm hiding in this room. It's because right now outside the lights are on. There's people in my garden having a little dance to the lights, and you can hear it in the other room. They're on till 8 o'clock. And while you're out there, I've got a little notepad and I write down, right, that worked well. We should do this. Maybe we should think about adding a dance floor. What should we add next year?
Right.
And so we write all that information down. We have a chat about it after 8 o'clock. And then we normally take about January off. So we have to take everything down at the start of January. That goes into storage. And then from February, then we start designing, right, okay, what's going to go where? Where do we put it? And then we order the stuff in February. And then that sometimes takes, because some of it comes from China, some of it used to come from America, but now we've got a great UK source called Build a Light Show. They are doing a lot of great stuff. And now we build all that throughout the year. But yeah, it starts in February. There's a full year going into it. It never really stops.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, the other question that occurs to me now is it's on from 4 till 8. Is it the same music going around in circles, or is it 4 hours of music that you have synchronized these lights to?
So what happens is there's a few different ways that people run shows. What a lot of people do is they do like one 15-minute show, specific songs, and they run that a few times an hour or a few times a night.
Right.
I don't like that. What I like to do is I like to sit, because I like, there's the showman, you know, we've seen the comedian, like I like being on stage. I've got an ego. So I like being out there talking to people as well. It's a really nice way. So me and my wife will just stand out there and we'll talk to people. We give sweets to the kids. And what we do is we work out what they want to see. So if there's a little girl, we'll say, do you like Frozen? Do you like Toy Story? And we put them on. So we have about 40 songs.
Right.
And we have a playlist order. And it will go through there if nobody's there. But if there's somebody there, we'll do specialized songs for them. For the dads, we've got We Will Rock You. We've got the Leeds United song. For the mums, we've got The Greatest Showman. And there's little bits like that you always pick out.
Right, yeah, the Leeds United song, but not for the people who came from Manchester to see you, obviously.
But do you know what? They're like, some of them like it as well. Some people will give us a donation to play the song, and some people have given us donations not to play that song. Somebody gave us a £5 not to play Leeds United for half an hour. So
brilliant. Oh, I love that. That's a really nice kind of approach, and another friendly approach rather than a competitive or aggressive or difficult approach. And the other thing is, you got 40 songs. That's 120 minutes of music, so that it would basically play through twice if nobody interrupted. And your idea is, let's make it dynamic and keep changing things around for the people who are actually here, which is delightful.
Especially because we get people that come back every night. We get people that come back a few times a week just to see. So we're always adding new songs as we go along. We also do Halloween. So Halloween only has 7 songs. And at the end of that week, you are so bored of them 7 songs. And that's why we keep adding the songs that we like.
Right. Do you get more songs each year? Do you add more songs?
Yeah.
So you're getting more and more and more. So next year it's going to be 80.
I wouldn't say 80 because of the way that it works is because the show changes every year. The props and the placement, you have to remap all the songs. So you're not starting again, but you have to do a lot of work for each song to get it back to where it was. So 80 songs, you know, you're talking, I need to start now. And obviously you can't confirm where all your props are until you put them up. And so realistically.
Oh, sorry, I just had another idea for a question. Is kind of the way you program it. Do you sit in front of the lights with the music going with a kind of keyboard where you kind of press things where you know the lights are going to light up, and so you kind of choreograph it in real time as you listen to the music, or do you actually have to sit down and do it second by second?
You sit down, you do it you do it millisecond by millisecond in a few ways. Sometimes in a lot of ways you do it bar by bar. So you know, and there's a wonderful bit of software called Xlights, which is free. So if anybody wants to do this, like the software is free and open source, and there are some cheap ways of doing this, but there are some really expensive ways of doing this. But what you have is you have a visualizer, so it simulates what your show will look like on the computer, and then you push it to a controller, and then you see what you actually got wrong within there. But 90% of the hobby you can do without plugging any lights in at all.
Wow, brilliant. Okay, so we've got the lights, and we've figured out that you start in February and you work through the year. But as you're building your light show and getting the things in from China or from your UK supplier, you're also doing the PR and the promotion, which is kind of the more marketing aspect of this.
Yes.
And what you were saying, and what I understand, is you're not particularly special, so it's actually quite difficult to get the media attention, the PR, and do the promotion.
That's a bit harsh, Jason. My mum thinks I'm special. You know, yeah. So it's really interesting. Like, it depends on people's knowledge level. So like, you think of a typical Christmas display in the UK, you think of a house with blow molds and all the things. And to me, like, I got banned from a Facebook group for Christmas lights because I said that it looked like the range Christmas had sneezed all over their house, and they didn't appreciate that. Right. I didn't use the word sneeze, but we'll talk about that later. So that's one aspect, and that is one area that takes effort. Now, ours takes a different amount, but if you don't know the difference between them, you'll think that they're quite similar. So, you know, there are bigger displays in the UK, and there are bigger pixel displays in the UK. That's the internal terminology that they use for these. These are called pixels.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you use the term pixels for lights. Yeah. Because I
don't like using that term with like normal people, because they don't know. It's just a light. So whenever I'm talking to press or wherever you'll never see me on Facebook use the word pixel,
right? Because
I'm not adding additional terminology to that. These are lights, and for anybody in the world, these are lights. And when they're in a reef, it's a Christmas light.
Right. Okay. So I mean, that's a good point about not using technical terms to people who don't necessarily understand it, and the idea that kind of you're not special. I'm sorry if it sounded insulting. Is the fact that there are lots of people doing this. So it's a similar problem that we all have with our products, is getting that attention for something that is obviously, in your case, not very common, but certainly more common than one would expect.
Yeah. So we start off early. The first thing that we do is we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on all the social platforms, because you want to increase your chance of doing it. So in January, when the show's down, we filmed all of the songs. I'm actually going out probably tomorrow night to film all the songs.
Right.
So I hope it's not cold. And then we put them up on YouTube in January. And that only not gives us an archive of our songs, but it also means that anybody who's searching for them will find our show throughout the year.
Right.
We also start to look at, right, okay, let's have a look for some local journalists, and we just follow them on Twitter. We've got a Hodgson Lights Twitter account, and we just follow them and see we'll just interact with them. I've made friends with some local journalists, and that just, that helps me and that helps them later on, because it means that if I'm saying, hey, we've got this, we've already got a relationship with me. They already know me, right. And that's the sort of thing. So we start that very, very early, and we do a little bit of that throughout the year, just to seed that. We also, throughout the year, on Instagram, I love Instagram, but we document what we do. So we're building it. If Scarlett's in the house pushing an Olaf prop, I will take a picture. We'll do a little bit of a story update. Next year, we're actually thinking about doing like a 10-minute YouTube like monthly update about what we do and how we built it and putting it together, putting a little bit more effort into it. But you're keeping in the back of everybody's mind that this is on, because it's so easy for people to forget a Christmas show in the middle of August. Because which normal person is thinking about Christmas lights in August? Not many people, apart from our house. So It's about just keeping that conversation going. Our Facebook page had about 700 likes last year. You know, we've just got 1,000, but it's about reminding that 700 people and remembering that Facebook doesn't show your post to everybody. So you need to keep making sure that A, that content's relevant, B, it's interesting, and so that you keep posting it, so you've got more chance of seeing to that audience.
Right. I mean, because it is a really interesting point that this Christmas lights are only once a year and only for a few days. I mean, I don't know how many days it was up. I can't remember what you said at the beginning. A couple of weeks? 3 weeks?
We start on the 1st of December, and we're going down in 4 days to Christmas Eve.
Right. Okay. So it's a short period, and then you're saying that you have to keep some kind of interest throughout the year, which would apply to any kind of Christmassy product. Do you actually see that immense kind of what's it called? A hockey stick of interest towards Christmas?
Yeah. It starts at Halloween. So
Right.
because we started to do Halloween lights, Halloween is when people started to really, really get into it and really get excited. Um, this year, this year's been a bit strange with the current COVID and stuff like that. People are a lot more cautious. There's a lot less. All the shows in the UK, because we all chat, are saying lower numbers and stuff like that. And this week, it's really been the first week that people have kicked into it with kids off of school and things like that. But yeah, as soon as November hits, like the amount of people that read and respond to our Facebook posts just shoots up. Like in August,
Right.
I'm lucky if we get 100 views on a post. But when it comes to, I think last week, I think we reached 40,000 people on Facebook.
Right. Wow.
And for a little Crossgates Christmas show, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And that thing with Halloween that you said, I mean, when we were doing the kids' cartoon, we had a website and we had activities for Christmas, activities for Halloween, and we saw the same thing. Is basically, I think people think, right, that kind of party's over. What's the next one? And that's when they start searching for it and becoming interested. And it's a couple of months ahead, really. Sorry, go ahead.
Exactly. No. That's exactly right. And that's why you've just got to keep in that mind, and you've got to make sure that when they're ready to search it, you are there. And that's so as we get closer to Christmas. So, we spend a lot of time making sure that things like, I spend a lot of time in Canva, making sure like assets like it's easy to find, because although on our Facebook post, we have the first thing we usually say is here's our postcode and here's the times of the show, which is 4 to 8. On the Facebook page, we have our address, and on every single post, on every asset we create, we have the postcode. And I will say we get 12, 15 messages a day from people on Facebook saying, where is it? So it's about making it as easy as you can for people who are too lazy to read, and that sort of thing.
Well, I suppose kind of one of the things that people don't think, oh, there must be the postcode in the image, because that isn't generally what we would see. So kind of maybe there is a thing about the obviousness of the way you're communicating, not to criticize what you're doing. I'm saying that's a brilliant idea, but people look for the most obvious.
Oh yeah, we try and put it, literally we try and put it in the first line of most updates.
Right.
And so, but it's about being there for when they're ready. So one of the other things that we do is we're on all the local Facebook groups. So my town, Crossgates, actually has 2 Facebook groups with about 10,000 people in each, and the admins hate each other, so you can't post on them both on the same day. And so we have local interest and things like that. When we talk about, and we also have the Leeds Facebook group, which has over 100,000, and making something there that people are interested in, making sure you've got a good image. It's all stuff that you don't think about when it comes to Christmas lights. You think you could just put them together and people will come, and in a lot of cases people will find it. But if you want to get like noticed, if you want to get more traffic, if you want to get price, you've got to put a little bit of effort into it. In some cases you don't. In some cases somebody will come, take a video, put it on TikTok, and it will go viral. That has happened. There we go. You see that? So that's one of my Canva images there.
For the audio people, we're seeing an image that says 4 to 8 p.m. Hodgson family lights. See over 25,000 Christmas lights, dance and sing to music. That's brilliant. Look for the house with the lights at LS 157LP for anybody who's looking for it.
Oh yeah, because there have been people that have come to that postcode and not been able to find it, and it's really hard not to say, did you look for the house with the lights on, without sounding sarcastic, because you can't miss the house. It has 200 snowflakes that light up. Anyway,
brilliant. Sorry, just really quickly, thank you to Simon and Eamon for the Merry Christmases. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'm having fun learning about Christmas lights, and I actually had a question about the way you're building out your promotion. Is you start with the focal kind of Christmas lightsy group with small numbers of members, and then build out from there, having built up your maybe authority or your popularity within those small communities, demonstrating to the larger communities that there's interest in what you have to say. Is that maybe fair?
Yeah. So we go out. We always focus on local, because it's okay getting in. Like, so for instance, we were talking like this morning we were featuring the Metro, which is absolutely brilliant, but that's going to bring hardly anybody to my show, because someone in London is not really going to travel up to Leeds to watch a singing Christmas tree sing a few songs. But what they can do is if they come to my site, they'll find out that there's other shows around them. They'll go to like find, and then we can increase the hobby. And what that interview was meant to be about was about the group as a whole.
Right.
So about the community that we've built. So then we start off local. We carry out. So there's a couple of journalists to say BBC Leeds that I know, and I messaged them, and we were on the BBC Radio Leeds. How you talk about Christmas lights on a radio station, it's always fun. For the people that are listening to the podcast here, again, good luck. I want you to visualize some flashing lights right now. It looks amazing. That's great.
Well, can you describe it so that people kind of, I mean, the twinkling bright lights of red, green, yellow, and blue flashing in time to the music. This is my idea.
Yeah, well, so for instance, we've got, so this year on the back we have a 6 meter by 6 meter scaffolding structure with 25,000 lights, a mega tree which is about 14 foot high.
Wow.
That has 5,000 lights on it. Which is connected to my shipping container, which is my office / workshop. We've got representations of snowmen from Disney, of fairies from Disney, and a very popular mouse that we can't name for legal reasons. Wow. And there's everything is synchronized to music, so it's not just the ones which go one color. You can see behind me, those people that are on video, that every one of them lights is individually programmed. It's got a chip in it which can do any color that you want, and you can synchronize it down to the millisecond, and in some cases you have to down to the beat of a song.
Right. Do you find that some people come purely for the technical aspect of what you just described?
Yeah. So especially people that want to get into the hobby, because what tends to happen is that people see a video on YouTube and go, "Oh, that looks good. I'll do that," and because that's what I did. And then you take about 2 steps into the hobby and you go, "Jesus, this is really hard. This is actually a lot more complicated and a lot more time consuming than I thought." So what you try and do is you find a fellow elf. And that because that's what the group's called. It's the European Lighting Fanatics, the ELF.
Oh, brilliant!
And you find somebody to come and so the amount of people that have come over and I've opened up and I showed the controller boxes and how it all works. We had some local kids that are friends with Scarlett from school, really interested. So I think they're going to come around one afternoon. I'm just going to take them behind the scaffolding and say, right, this is how this works. This is what plugs into this.
Right, and then the kids obviously then go out the front and wonder at the wonderment of it. I mean, the magic of it must be amazing, standing in the back garden with kids, especially.
It is, and every night you can see people just kids just dancing and singing, and even adults. Like we had a couple the other day who were just driving past at the club, and they were in the garden for about an hour and a half. And then they said, "Oh, do you know what? We need to bring the kids next time." And they came back last night, and they were there, and they just absolutely loved it, and they really, really appreciated the effort. And that is what you want. So you want to increase your chances of getting more and more people like that. Thank you very much, European Lighting Fanatics, ELF.
Yeah, Anton's just shown the text that was said earlier on. Obviously, deeply charming. Somebody must have spent hours thinking that one up.
It wasn't me. I can't take credit for that one. I am an admin on the group, but so and around this time we end up getting 30 to 40 member applications a day. So it is a very, very busy time for us because everybody wants to do it. But the issue that you've got is you get people joining at the start of November going, "Oh, I thought I'd start now. I want to join to get an early start for my Christmas decorations." And you just think you've got no chance unless you're willing to dedicate quite a bit of money and time. Look at next year.
Right, and that is kind of from the marketing perspective, at least. It's marketing and preparing your product, as it were, is thinking well ahead and not expecting to be able to just shove it all out the door really, really quickly.
Exactly. So we'll go back to PR, for instance.
Right.
So when we come to the PR stuff, like you said, I'm not special, and a lot of shows that. So, and journalists can be a bit bored about writing about Christmas lights because to them, 100 blow molds in a garden is the same as a synchronized design. At the end of the day, it's a newspaper or it's a website. It's a Christmas light display. So what we try and do is we try and talk about a story and we try and give them something like that. So, for instance, last year, we pitched the idea that because, so I'll tell you a little bit of a story that leads on to this.
Okay.
My family are massive Disney fans. We go we used to go several times a year. Our house is a homage to it. We've got Disney everywhere. And we've been to every Disney park in the world apart from the Asian ones. And so in 2018, me and my wife said, you know what, let's save some money. Let's put some money together and let's go. And we'll do a big trip and we'll go to Hong Kong, then Shanghai, then Tokyo. And we'll do it in 1 3-week trip and we'll take Scott. But this is in 2018. We had to save up a little bit of money for that. So I said, right, let's go in 2 years. So let's go in May 2020. So we saved up, we booked everything. And we don't need to go to what happened in May 2020, but we managed to get all the money refunded. So we had this money sat there. And obviously we couldn't go to any Disney stuff. So the story that I wrote was about how we had this holiday of a lifetime cancelled. So we decided to create Disney on our own house. And we built our own sort of Disney castle. And we got a lot of coverage for that. We got a lot of interest because we turned it into man puts lights on his house to family recreates dream holiday, things like that.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So just as a point, just generally speaking, I think we forget that kind of different angle totally changes the story, and that's where great PR comes from. So keep going with your examples. I'm enjoying this. Yeah,
we also took a look at things like the songs and like what we're targeting. So I'm not the biggest football fan, and by the way I say that, it means that I've never been to a football match in my life.
Right.
But I know that Leeds United are very popular. So what we did was we actually synchronized Leeds United to the lights. I mentioned it earlier. So Marching On Together, their famous song, everybody sings it. That you can request that on the show. And I put that up on Facebook last year, and I joined a few Leeds United groups, and I just posted the link. And within 4 days, it got 50,000 views. Which was absolutely great. So I'm just giving a minute. 50,000 views. Brilliant. And for a Crossgates small light show, and we had people coming from all over just to see this show.
So potentially you could also actually target specific types of people according to the songs that you do each year. Obviously you've got the Disney songs, but then you've also got the Christmas Carol stuff and the Leeds United fans stuff.
Yeah, we have Darude Sandstorm for some of the older 90s ravers. We have some dubstep. Well, I mean, at the start of the year,
dubstepping Christmas lights. You just said, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of dubstep Christmas songs. We'll take requests from people, but it takes a bit of time to do songs. But if we can do it, we will do. And yeah, that's one of the things. That's why we sit out there and we do the jukebox style, because we can make sure that there's something for everybody. Like we've had the mums and the kids in there dancing, and the dad sat in the car like, oh, this is rubbish, I'm not coming in. And then I'll put Leeds United on, or I'll put Queen's We Will Rock You on, and I've seen them literally run from the car with the camera just to take photos and just to see it and show them with the friends. And that's the joy of this hobby. You can put whatever you want. Right now, we're sequencing one of my favorite musicals, which is Six. We're sequencing some of the songs from that onto the thing, because we're going to try and produce a little video of that.
Right. Why didn't I understand what you just said? You said Six.
Six is a musical.
Oh right, never heard of it. I've got no idea what that might be.
It's about Henry VIII's wives, and it is absolutely. While you're in England, if you get a chance, go and see it. It's on tour.
Right. So Henry VIII had 6 wives. Then I take it.
Yes, and it's all their individual stories, but it's a musical, and it's incredible. Right. But one of the songs from there is what we're looking for.
Okay, well, I'm afraid running round my head isn't a particularly joyful kind of musical, but I presume it is.
No, it has some dark bits, and it is. There's some funny bits, but it's a brilliant show.
Brilliant, wonderful. Okay, so back to Christmas lights to kind of conclude. What's the plan? I mean, over Christmas itself, do people turn up on Christmas Day? Is that a popular day, or does nobody turn up? We go dark on Christmas Eve. So once 8 o'clock on Christmas Eve hits, everything gets turned off, and then depending on how much time I spend with my family on Christmas Day, if I get really, I'm like, right, okay, I can't watch this anymore. I might go outside and start packing some stuff up, and then it all goes into storage. Right. I'm sorry, I missed the fact. Yeah, it ends on the 24th. How very foolish of me. So brilliant. So basically Friday evening is the end of the Christmas lights in Leeds, at your house at least, but all the hobbyists do that? They all stop on the same day?
No. Some people go up until New Year's Eve. Some people do a New Year's Eve show. We did last year, but I didn't want to this year. I was happy with what we did. What we did Christmas Eve. There was too many things going on, and
Brilliant.
we were supposed to go away. So I don't think that'll be happening right now. But I've already committed, and I need to start working on next year's now.
Brilliant. Yeah, get started working on next year's as from Boxing Day on the 26th.
Ammon actually has a question. Can we bring that? Are we able to bring his question up into the?
Yeah, Anton can bring the questions up. If Anton wants to bring the Ammon question up.
That's all right. If he can't, I'll read it out, which is...
Please go ahead.
Have you ever been tempted to branch out into Halloween lights, Dom, to extend the season? So this year was the first year we did Halloween lights, and they were really, really popular. People really... but again, it took a while to build that up. I assumed going into it that the Christmas audience, as soon as we mentioned Halloween, will be straight there. But actually, Halloween has a slightly different audience. So it's about almost building that up from the beginning again. And so that was a learning curve for us. People say, what can you do next? And the issue that you've got in the UK, at least, is it starts getting light. Today's winter solstice, which is the longest day, which means that from tomorrow, it starts getting lighter. And last year, we did some lights on the house for Easter, but it didn't get dark until 9-10 o'clock. So you can't be doing a kids show till then. So on the front of the house, we've got snowflakes. We're keeping them up for a while because we can do. There's Freddie Mercury there. We can do some. We can actually submodel them, which is a technical term. It means that so you've got the model which is a snowflake, but for Halloween I can turn them into bats, and I think that for Valentine's Day I think I can turn them into love hearts. So and maybe I can turn them into eggs for Easter, which means I don't have to take them down. So that's the plan at the moment.
Morphing lights, how delightful! So you can keep going basically through the winter months when it's dark.
Exactly.
Absolutely brilliant. That was the most delightful conversation about Christmassy lights I've had in 35 years at least. Thank you very much, Dom. That was brilliant. We're going to now introduce Winnie. Oh, and thank you for everybody for watching. That was really great. Thank you for the Merry Christmases and the happy festive season. I'm looking forward to a festive season with my daughter. And if you're wondering why I'm in this very strange background, it's because I'm staying with her in Oxford in her student house, and it takes me back 30
He's definitely not in a grow house. Definitely
not. So next week, it's going to be Winnie's son. She's going to be talking about branding to grow your business. She's absolutely awesome, incredibly cheerful, incredibly positive, and she brings loads of really great advice to the table about growing your personal brand, and in fact, growing your personal brand into your company brand in a really kind of delightful, positive manner. Dom, would you like to pass the baton as we have every week?
I don't have a baton. I've got a ball. I don't want it to either. If I do this, there you go, Winnie. There you go. Thank you. I hope. Do you want the Santa hat as well, just for the session? There you go.
Brilliant.
You go. Thank you, Winnie.
I'll see if I can get Winnie to wear the hat. Thank you very much, Dom. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week for Winnie's son. A quick goodbye to end the show. Thank you, Dom. Awesome session, Simon Cox. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
To you too.